Rob and Slim Show.
Is this Rob and Slim?
This is Rob and Slim.
And this is Slim.
And Slamborghini sometimes. But we have a Slamborghini here, guys. And I there should be, because Lamborghini's not here for like half a season every year. There needs to be a conspiracy about him. But we...
You know what? I'll work on it, man. Just send me the details.
Yeah.
I'll put something together.
He claims he's going to school. I don't know if that's holding up, though, and Greg and Nick.
That sounds like BS.
Greg and Nick from the Zeitgeist podcast. It's a conspiracy comedy podcast.
Yeah. You know, I'm glad you said that, because when we started doing this podcast, I was just kind of like, we'll just do conspiracy theories. It'll be fun. And then people started responding saying, like, it's a conspiracy comedy podcast. And I'm like, wait, is that all it takes? Like, I would like.
Oh, you didn't know you were doing comedy? You thought it was. You were just covering
I was like, we're just doing a conspiracy podcast. Like, is this what it takes to be a comedian? Because like those guys got it made, man. They don't do anything.
And if I don't have to do anything, I'll do nothing.
Yeah, right.
How did you guys meet?
Well, we've been friends since the 4th grade.
Okay.
So, middle school, high school, and then just been friends for a very long time.
Well, no, we met kindergarten baseball. We were on the same team, but like we didn't know each other.
They have kindergarten baseball?
Yeah.
Oh, he was the enemy back then. He was the jock.
Who was the better player?
Oh, it was not me. When I played baseball, man, this is a quick story. But when I played baseball, like I was a fat kid, and I wasn't like super fat, but I was like early '90s fat. So like not as fat as kids are today, but I was relatively fat. And so what I would do is like I would go play baseball, but I didn't really like playing baseball. I was like an outfielder. And if it was my turn to bat, I would go and intentionally strike out and then sit back down, and my mom would bring me nachos. And I would just sit in the bleachers and eat nachos the whole game. It was, I thought it was great, but
I didn't get the nachos. That's why I probably quit after I don't even know how many games. I did the Little League, but I didn't get any nachos. Now I want to redo it. Now I want to go back and play Little League.
I just lived off the Rice Krispies that we got at the end of the game and picked the flowers off the field because the ball comes towards me. I'm like, someone else will get it. I just sit there. My dad's like, stand up, and I'm like,
get that ball.
No.
Get the ball.
The ball's past your foot, and you're just like, it's not my problem.
He's just picking a flower.
So how did this lead to doing a conspiracy podcast?
Well, so we actually had a podcast we used to do a long time ago that was just really random, and just we talked about just nothing basically, and that kind of just died off. But me and Greg would just talk about conspiracies when we hung out all the time. And I listened to conspiracy podcasts. We watch documentaries about it all the time. So we're like, why not just turn this into a podcast, just us talking about it with very minimal research and just discussing what we feel about these crazy, like these really out there type of conspiracy theories.
Yeah, you guys hit on some crazy, like the Avril Lavigne one. I just loved that. That was one of your shows.
Oh, I love that one.
Just the fact that people think she's dead and being replaced by a doppelganger. I think we did that story.
We talked about that.
We did that story a while back. And well, what is your guys' take on that? Do you?
You
mean Melissa?
Oh,
no, it's Melissa. It's not Avril.
Yeah, it's Melissa.
Melissa.
No, yeah, I mean, go. If anybody listening, if you're interested in that one, we've got that episode and a lot more. But go check it out because Nick does a deep dive on that one as far as like.
I love that.
And I didn't buy it. I still don't know if I buy it, but it's plausible enough. That's what we do. Nick was saying very little research. We get it to where it's just plausible enough, and then we put it out there. Like our most recent episode.
Well,
most recent episode was Bob Ross.
Yes,
how he's the Zodiac Killer.
I wanted to ask what the Bob Ross theory was. He's the Zodiac Killer? That's what it is?
Oh my god.
Well, I mean that one was the least researched episode we've ever had.
Oh my gosh, that was suggested by a person on Twitter. So we're like, why not? And we couldn't find anything on it. So we're like, you know what? He's a Zodiac Killer.
No, bro, literally as I was saying the sentence, that's where I came up with it. Like I had no forethought on that one.
Are you kidding me?
No, dead serious. I was in the middle of the sentence and I was like, you know what? He's the friggin' Zodiac Killer. Let's go with it. And then that became the episode.
Oh, he wasn't even the Zodiac Killer before this? You guys...
No, he was the Zodiac Killer.
Okay.
I figured it out.
Which Zodiac Killer, though? Was he a copycat or was he the Ridge?
Oh, original
Ridge,
killer.
The timeline fits.
Check it out, episode 9, Zeitgeist podcast.
Oh,
we go all into it.
God damn.
Oh,
I want to ask you, what does Zeit mean? Is that like ancient Romantic origins, or what is the conspiracy behind the
You're better
name?
explaining that.
Yeah, so where we came up with that, and we had a bunch of ideas for what we can name it,
lists and lists.
like conspirates, like we're pirates. And we
Ooh,
steal conspiracy theories
I
from
like
other
the
people.
conspirates.
My favorite.
What was yours?
Constipated.
Constipated.
Yeah, because we had so many theories and we couldn't push them out fast enough.
Yeah, and then you were like, maybe not. That's not really SEO friendly.
You're
What
right.
about, what about the Templards? The Templards. The Templards.
Templar Tards, I like that.
I think another one I had was two guys, one conspiracy theory or something.
Oh yeah, but then I was like, we're gonna have a lot more than one conspiracy theory. Conspiratorium was another one that I thought was cool.
That's a cool one.
That is cool.
But we ended up at Zeitgeist, and the reason being is that we weren't intending for it to be like just conspiracy theories, because honestly, some of the episodes, we do certain episodes that we call Mind Sweeper, M-I-N-D Sweeper, because those are episodes that are about things that are actually proven to be true that you might not have heard before. So it's not all conspiracies. Sometimes it's the real deal. And so we called it Zeitgeist because the German word Zeitgeist means, like, it translates to the spirit of the times. And we're in kind of an era now where it's like everything's fake news and we don't really know what to believe. And moms on Facebook are telling us, whether or not to vaccinate our kids and all that stuff. And so everyone's really skeptical of everything. And so the spirit of our current age is skepticism and trying to learn about the truth behind things. And so we thought, we're the Zeitgeist. We're trying to uncover the truth. And that's how we got that one.
Yeah,
I can eat raw meat. I don't have to cook that chopped meat. I can just eat the whole thing right off the styrofoam it comes on.
Yeah,
pretty much.
I always wonder what Zeitgeist mean, because a friend of mine in Slambos actually showed us a documentary called Zeitgeist,
Well,
and
I
it was
Googled
like,
it, and it did seem like a lot of German stuff.
Yeah.
and it was like the documentary he showed us was the 9/11 conspiracy. It was,
That's
the
what I was
whole
going to
thing,
ask.
yeah.
I was going to ask where the thermite comes from.
I've seen that documentary, and that's kind of where I got the idea. It's a crazy documentary.
Right?
It really
They cover
is.
a lot of stuff.
I remember watching it when I was like 14 and panicking and
The
just
loose
like
change? Is that the
They
one?
go into how they spend like a whole hour on how religion was fake, and I was like, whoa, man, this is a lot. This is heavy.
and how the
I
bank
haven't
the
seen
bank
that.
system, how
it's
the
crazy.
banks run us and all that, right?
That was
Oh
Jefferson.
yeah. The what's his name? Like J.P. Morgan and all them are like. There's these secret trillionaires that rule the world. Oh, it's so crazy.
I kind of think there are. I feel like Philip Morris really owns everything when it comes down to it. Like, they own, I think, Kraft, which owns everything.
Right.
They're on. Therefore, like, everything you buy is either owned by Coke or Pepsi, which are both owned by Philip Morris.
You know what? I wish I knew that when we did the Crayola owns everything episode, because that's
yeah.
way more interesting.
Well, yeah,
than what we came up with.
Because
Let's do like a part 2 of that episode.
Definitely, look that up, because I remember in I think high school in one of my history classes, my teacher showed me this list of everything Philip Morris owns, and then it's like Kraft, and then they own everything. They own everything, and every fast food place you go to that has Coke or Pepsi, whatever they have, whatever soda they have is what they're owned by.
Wow.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Wait,
yeah.
really?
Yes.
blowing
Yeah.
my mind.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm learning so much right now. So wait, so certain restaurants are not allowed to own a competitor's beverage, to sell a competitor's beverage?
Yeah, you go to Taco Bell, they have Pepsi, they're owned by PepsiCo. You go to McDonald's, they have Coke, they're owned by Coke. That's
Well, see, I mean, I thought they had dealer agreements with certain beverage providers, but I didn't realize that meant they were actually owned by whatever manufacturer.
Yeah, that's what I originally been told. So yeah, I don't know how that holds up, but yeah, I remember being a dumb kid in the 90s in high school, and yeah, my teacher told me that. I was like, wow.
Just finding out. For me,
that
just
holds about as much water as anything we say. So
Yeah.
I believe you.
Yeah, Mr. Monroe. He was cool. He was cool as fuck. What were you saying, Slim?
just finding out recently that Coke owns Monster, that blew my mind. Like these companies, because I'm in retail, so I've dealt with vendors from different companies, and like, yeah, they're like, Coca-Cola owns a lot, Pepsi owns Frito-Lay, they own Rockstar, they like all these little energy drinks are owned by either Coke or Pepsi.
Yeah, yep.
The only one that's not is Red Bull. Red Bull is like on their own, but the other, like Coke is like, they got Monster, they got Reign, like they're doing everything they can to like beat down Red Bull.
Fuck Red Bull. Fuck Red Bull. That guy's.
You should see how much Nestle owns.
Nestle owns a lot.
They own so much.
Oh my God!
It owns like all the water in Colombia, man. Like it's like it's weird.
So here's an amazing Nestle thing that few people know. So in the company I work for, we sell a product called Deer Park, and I used to sell a product called Poland Spring.
Yes.
And people are pissed off that I don't have Poland Spring anymore, and they're like, well, why you just have Deer Park? And I'm like, no, it's all the same, because Deer Park, Poland Spring, Ozark, and 50 other different waters are all owned by Nestle.
They all come out of the same toilet
They're
bowl.
all owned by Nestle. And
you're right.
Nestle is just getting tax write-offs because they're like, oh, well, in Texas we're going to have Ozark, but it's actually Poland Spring, but we're getting a tax write-off because we're calling it something different.
Wow.
Yeah.
I feel so cheated.
Yeah. It's all owned by Nestle.
I like Deer Park because Joe Torre used to drink that when he was the Yankees coach. So I was like, yeah, I'm all Deer Park. That's the best water there is, because if it's good enough for Joe Torre, it's good enough for me.
Yeah. This is Nestle. And Nestle also owns Nestle water.
Do they own the Yankees?
Yes, probably.
I want to ask you
It's
guys.
like how, sorry, go ahead.
No, I want to ask you. I did listen to the one because it's one I want to believe. I listened to your episode about the Hollow Earth because, dude, there's so much about it. There's so much. This goes to Hitler. It goes to like a World War I pilot, right? Didn't he claim he dipped into the hole? Like, there's so much behind the stupid Hollow Earth.
Yeah, because I was trying to explain to Greg, like, there's like, I had so many articles because there's so much like information on this because it's been around for so long. Like, it was originally hypothesized by like the guy Halley, the guy that discovered Halley's Comet.
Yes.
He's the one that he came up with this theory. So he came up with like worlds inside of worlds kind of thing, like our Russian nesting doll.
Yeah, turtles all the way down.
Turtles all the way down.
Matrix.
But I want to believe it because it's crazy, and I really like the fact that like it can explain like the Bermuda Triangle, UFO sightings, alien abductions, paranormal stuff as well, supernatural stuff.
I think there was a lady,
a lot of it,
in the 60s or 70s too, that supposedly had videos of like lights shooting out. Like there was all sorts of shit. There's really been a lot. There's really been a lot on it.
Yeah, and that's also like, that's the kind of stuff that Nick brings to the podcast more than I do. Is like, if I'm bringing an episode up, it's something like, you know, like, this is interesting, could be true. New Zealand doesn't exist. That's an example, right? That's our first episode.
Is that a real theory? Yeah.
Yeah,
he came up with that.
Oh yeah, I make up a lot of my own.
So
that was an original.
You're not Googling. So Nick is Googling conspiracy theories where you're just like, I got this one. I just had a dream. Definitely real.
Yeah, pull them right out of my butthole, I tell you.
All right.
But also I do some research sometimes. Like, I try to, like, you know, find certain things that I find interesting. But if Nick's gonna do a conspiracy, it's like world changing. Like, it's always something like everything you've ever known is wrong. Like the Hollow Earth is an example.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting dynamic because we both like to poke holes in each other's theories, because part of the zeitgeist is you're skeptical of things, so you can't take it all at face value, right? You got to kind of flesh it out. So when he does something, I try to poke holes in it, but usually it's just so much. Or like the world actually ended in 2012. That was another one of his.
Oh, I love that one.
Wow.
Whoa, see, I was telling that earlier to Slambo when he was talking about the coronavirus. I'm like, we're already dead. We died years ago, and now you guys you guys confirmed it, so we are dead.
Yeah. Well, it's not that we're dead. We have just changed realities.
Oh, that's
Mandela effect.
That's Mandela effect, right?
Yeah. Well, because I can sum it up real quick, but it's basically this whole Twitter thread I found about this guy. So I don't know if y'all remember back in 2012 when they were doing the Large Hadron Collider stuff, and everyone was afraid that it was going to make like a big black hole.
I do.
Well, the thing
that.
is, it did, and we just never knew. And we got taken to a world that was way worse and way more terrible than the one we were in before.
How did we get?
Here
How
we
did we
are.
get there? How did we get there? We didn't even know.
Because it all happens in dimensions that our minds can't understand.
Well,
Ooh, I like
basically we jumped from one universe to a parallel universe through a wormhole that was created by the Large Hadron Collider. Is the theory?
That's a Hollow Earth.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
we're in the Earth.
Wait,
Whoa.
yeah. What if? Whoa.
Whoa.
Wow.
So if you think about it, remember that movie Meet Dave with Eddie Murphy? We all just have little people inside of us.
That's exactly it.
So we're inside a little Earth controlling big Earth.
Little Earth.
Oh, Little Big Earth, Little Big Planet.
What is your opinion of like simulation theory? Because I feel like simulation theory is a cop out because simulation theory explains everything. So like
Oh, so
you could be
it's
like,
right?
there's because I feel like you could say this conspiracy, and then somebody could just be like, we're in a simulation, and it just explains
Oh,
everything.
yeah, that's
Like,
true.
It's a cop out.
It's right. It's
I mean,
It is. It's a cop out.
it is a cop-out.
It's true, but what we do is like, there's a couple things like that I mentioned in the last episode. A couple things that we just kind of agreed not to talk about because like either there's like everybody's talking about it already and you wouldn't learn anything new, or it's just cheap. So like Flat Earth is an example, right? There's so much info on YouTube and Twitter and everywhere about Flat Earth. We're like, you know what? I'm not interested in talking about that because you can find info about that anywhere. You won't even be looking for info about that and you find it, you know? So we haven't really covered that. Simulation theory is another one. Like, we're all in the Matrix. Like everybody's been saying that since the movie came out. And that was like, it's been like 15, 20 years. Let it go. We're just going to move on and try to find stuff that's a little more interesting.
yeah.
What about the existence of giants? I've been seeing stuff like that popping up on
Like
the internet.
Taniki 69.
Does it matter? Like,
Well,
would the
no.
existence of giants have a huge
Well,
impact
it
on us?
wouldn't, but I guess it's an interesting thing to me.
Would it hurt the dwarf economy?
Right.
that all goes back to
Would
Hollow
it create
Earth.
a whole new
no.
race word?
That all goes down to Hollow Earth as well.
Yeah, because the people living inside the Earth are called the Agarthians, and they are considered giants.
Ooh.
They live inside the Earth and actually monitor everything we do to make sure that we don't kill ourselves.
What
They
about-
are kind of like they are overseers.
I feel like everything is explained with this Hollow Earth. Like Loch Ness, that's where Loch Ness goes. That's why they can't find that fucker because they dug up the whole fucking goddamn pond.
Oh man, you're right.
Right?
Right.
I thought the guy came forward who took that picture a long time ago.
No, that picture was fake. That
Oh,
picture
that was
a
my
log.
dick. I tweeted that. And
I knew it.
It was I used shadows and I stretched a little and.
Weren't they catching like record-breaking sturgeons out of that lake? Too?
What?
What is a sturgeon?
What the
It's like
fuck?
a fish. Just
Maybe he's 20 sturgeons.
muddy fish.
Million sturgeons. Maybe that's what it was.
I mean, it could be real. I mean, the giant squid ended up being real. So
Hey,
Yeah,
man,
Was the
giant
giant
sturgeons could be
squid
the-
real?
You never, yeah, that was back in the 90s.
yeah.
And they
Holy
found
shit.
the
Yeah, and they
goddamn
found the
giant squid.
colossal squid too. Even
So
bigger.
it was
Oh,
a
yeah.
kraken?
Yeah,
Was it Cthulhu?
They found the goddamn Kraken, yes.
they found it.
Yeah.
I want to know, do you guys do interviews? Because I know a colossal boar you could talk to. His name is Cyril Wecht. He was the autopsy guy who
Oh my God.
who did the autopsies on Marilyn Monroe, Elvis, and Kurt Cobain, and he will talk over you. He will be a real prick, but he will be easy to get for an interview.
I mean, I'll do an interview if that guy's willing to talk to us, just because that's interesting as hell.
He talked to us like first season. Yeah, like it doesn't take much. It doesn't take much. You can get him. Like just Google him and email him, and yeah, he'll just slurp on his false teeth and just be a condescending old prick to you. But you can talk to him. He won't give you much. I think I went outside and I called us as Tiny Elvis.
Oh, I think you did.
I think.
Tiny Elvis.
Man.
And I want to ask you guys too. What is the CIA heart attack gun?
Ooh.
ooh, that's a good one.
That was our first Minesweeper episode, actually.
Oh, that's actually a real thing.
No, that's a real.
It's
that's
real.
a real thing. That's like the Library of Congress. It's all out there.
What?
I don't want to take away from like the whole episode we did because that was like a big reveal, but it's too late now. It's already posted. So basically, during the Nixon administration, after Watergate and everything like that, the CIA was in, or I'm sorry, the Senate was investigating the CIA during his administration, and they had to bring forward some of their stuff, and it took a while for this all to become public data. But one of the things they uncovered was that there's a gun that the CIA had developed during that time that shoots a small dart, and the dart is it's essentially painless. You don't really feel it, but it injects a poison that causes you to have a heart attack within the next hour or two, and then the poison denatures within 8 hours. So by the time they do an autopsy, there's no sign of foul play.
Does the dart dissolve or the whole? Like, wow.
No, the dart dissolves too. Yeah.
What? Wow.
And I wish I was making that one up. That one I did research on. That's a real deal. Like, you can look that up and find all kinds of info.
Like, you can watch the press conference where they hold up the gun and say, "This is the gun." Like, it's on YouTube. Like, this is a real gun that exists.
Wow. So what about the brown note? Like, I want to know if that really exists. Like,
didn't Mythbusters do that?
I think so.
Yes. We haven't done it yet.
We haven't. Well, lucky for you, I brought one with me. So get ready.
I got one right here. Let's just
broadcast the brown note to everybody listening right now and see what happens.
Anybody?
Nah.
We have toilet paper here. We do have a roll somewhere.
We do have a roll of toilet paper.
I got toilet paper right here, so if anybody shit themselves, feel free.
Nick's not saying anything, but it smells really bad over here.
Shut up.
I want you guys to look into a conspiracy theory for me, though. So there was this time I was hanging out with this Egyptian kid.
What?
Yeah. It was an Egyptian guy. Good dude, right? And he was like, I really like the anime Yu-Gi-Oh! Because it deals with Egyptian history. So I believe he confirmed that ancient Egyptians used to summon monsters with playing cards and battle each other.
I believe that they had TV. They had pocket monsters.
They had Pokemans and
they had
pocket mans.
Egyptian mans.
So ancient Egyptians used to summon monsters with cards.
So we need to check and see, like, look through the archives, right, of like Ramses and stuff, and see if like Yu-Gi-Oh is historical canon.
Yes.
Next episode. I was gonna ask you what you had planned for the next episode, but now I know.
I mean, apparently we're going to Egypt, man. We're gonna dig up a pyramid. And we're gonna see what's up.
Like, what is it? Cleopatra, what do you want to do? Summon White Eyes. Summon my dragon.
Blue Eyes White Dragon.
Blue Eyes White Dragon.
Oh, you blew it.
What is it? Send them to the dark world.
I want to activate my trap.
She has the arm like knife where she hides her cards. Prepare to duel.
Oh, the fucking discs.
I choose you, Pikachu. That's all I know. Guys, you are fucking awesome. Where can everybody find you both?
Well, you can find us at Zeitgeist Podcast on Twitter. It's pretty much our main outlet of social media.
Wait, I'm gonna need you to spell it.
Yes.
Please don't do this to me.
Do it.
Okay, I'm dyslexic. This is gonna be tough. ZEITGUYS Podcast.
Hey, that was good.
God. Okay.
Got it. Nailed it. Nice.
Yeah, we got that on Twitter, and that's pretty much it. We have our DMs open, so you can send us theories. We'll talk about literally ones people make up. We'll probably talk about it and see if we can come up with something.
Yeah, I mean, you guys slid into our DMs, so anybody can.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, you're gonna be getting a lot. You're gonna be getting like one a day, 5, 12 an hour from me.
That's fine. That's fine. I won't do all of them, but if you send us some good stuff, we'll do our take on it. And I think the podcast should be hosted. It's on Stitcher and Apple. Right?
Yeah, it's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts.
It'd be a pretty crappy podcast actually if it wasn't.
If it wasn't anywhere.
Yeah, if it was just like only on like one.
It's on my what is it?
It's on my hard drive. It's on my hard drive.
It's on my Angel Fire site.
It's on my MySpace. My
MySpace.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for talking to us. It's been a blast.
Yeah, thanks for having us, man.
No problem. Have a good one.
You too.
You too, my buddies. That was a lot of fun.